All right, everyone. We were going to continue on with our presentation with the University of Maryland, and Judy is here to tell you about the University of Maryland College Park.
Hi, everyone. My name is Judy, and out of the three schools that I researched, the first one up is the University of Maryland. It is located in College Park of Maryland. So for any of the DMV or per se our class, if anyone was thinking of going to school in the DMV, University of Maryland is an option. It is a public university. Tuition costs around 18K through 37K, depending on financial aid and if we are out of state or in state. DC tag is accepted. The average GPA for UMD is around 4.32, but it could go a little lower, I believe so. The SAT requirement is 1,290 or more, and the ACT requirement is 29 or more. And for the degrees that I found, the main one is a bachelor's degree in film and cinema studies. Moving on to the film programs that they have there, we have journalism, which gives students an opportunity to learn and experience careers that focus on TV news or newsletters, more in like the, let's say, media type of study with like magazines and stuff. Next, we have multimedia journalism, which allows students to learn the skills and the process of storytelling. And you can think of it as like script writing in a way, because that's how you develop the process of how you're gonna explain and tell your story. And you also learn how to shoot and edit photos and videos, which is pretty cool. And the third film program they have there is the film studies program, which has a ton of other classes in it. So when you go to study film studies there, you have so many options ranging from animation and cinema, which focuses on animation and art and other media. And then there's also film noir, which we also learn in mass media too, or one, I forgot actually. But yeah, you can learn about film noir and American culture, which focus on like American movies from the 1900s. And there's also documentary films, which we also have experience with, and other origins of cinema. Moving on to the notable alumni, we have Connie Chung, who is an American journalist. She was an anchor / reporter for NBC, CBS, ABC, CNN, and MSNBC. She's also the second woman to have ever worked in the main network anchor chairs, which is so important because there's women representation within this industry. And as for the second notable alumni, we have Larry David, who is an American comedian. He's also a writer, an actor, director, and a television producer. He also created the sitcom TV series called Seinfeld, if anyone has watched that. And he also created the comedy TV series Curb Your Enthusiasm. Moving on to the second school, I chose California State University, Long Beach, somewhere I want to go. It is located in Long Beach, California. It's a public university. Tuition costs around 18K through 27K, depending on financial aid and in or out of state. DC tag is not accepted, unfortunately. The SAT requirement is about 1,040 or more, and ACT requirement of 23 or more. The average GPA required is 3.5, 3.56. You can get a bachelor's degree in film and cinema studies, and also bachelor's of arts in film and electronic arts, sorry. As for the film programs there, we have one called production and directing, which gives students the opportunity to focus on writing and producing and also directing, which is something that we do in mass media, which is totally something I want to do in college. We have cinematography, which focuses on the craft of cinematography, which is like lighting and shooting. So we get to experience with more of the way our film looks and everything. We have broadcast and production, which focuses on producing and directing broadcast media, such as commercials, live events, video shows, which is really, really cool. And we have post production, which allows students to explore editing and workflows and software. Also, something that we do in mass media. So you can get a more in depth learning with that in that program. Some notable alumni at Long Beach is Steve Spielberg, who is an American film director. He directed the movie Jaws, if anyone is familiar with that, and Jurassic Park. And the next notable alumni is Chris Carter. He's an American film producer. He directed The X-Files, I Want to Believe, if anyone has watched that, and he has also worked for Surfing Magazine. And the last school that I will be introducing is UCLA. It is located in Los Angeles, California. It is a public university. Tuition costs around $13K to $45K, and DC tag is accepted. The ACT requirement is 1,120, which is the lowest I could find it, but I think it might be a little more. The ACT requirement is 30 or more. The average GPA is 3.9, and you can get a bachelor's, master's, postmaster's, and a doctor's degree in film and cinema studies. As for the film programs there, production, practice in film, television, and digital media is one of them, which explores and gives you practice on the different aspects of producing in film, theater, and digital media. The digital media studies program focuses on the history and the skill of digital media, art, and its culture. And you can get more in depth with that and its history when you take that class. Introductory screenwriting focuses on the practice of analyzing film, which is something we have done in mass media with like our film wars, if anyone remembers. But this one you learn more about how you can improve your own screenwriting and your own work. And also the last film program that I listed is lighting for film and television. So it would mainly focus on the concepts of lighting and film with hands-on learning with the equipment, and you get more experience with learning on how to, fix lighting or find the perfect lighting and stuff like that. And as for notable alumni, we have James Franco, who is an American actor. He was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Actor for his role in 127 Hours. And he acted in The Interview, which is such a great movie that I really love. And if anyone has watched it, he is a notable alumni. And as for Danielle Panabaker, who is another notable alumni, she is an American actress. She has acted in many Disney films, such as Stuck in the Suburbs, Sky High, and Read It and Weep. She also acted in The Flash as Killer Frost, and she was nominated for several Teen Choice Awards.
Okay.
And that's it.
All right, Judy, thank you so much. Up next, we have John, and he will start off with Temple University.
All right. So I had Temple University. It's located in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And some of the largest degrees are psychology, finance, marketing, biology, radio and television, and communications. So the admission requirements, GPA average is like 3.54. SAT is 1,010 to 12, 30, and ACT is 22 to 28. Tuition out of state is $29,882 US dollars. It's a public institution. So here's some of the program details for film programs. Bachelor of Arts in Media Studies and Production. It's the media analysis track. The media analysis profession option track introduces students to the critical understanding of the roles of media in contemporary life, including media technology as a cultural force. So it's like your media track, understanding like the cultural aspect of it seems pretty interesting. And then you have Bachelor of Arts in Media Studies and Production, Media Business and Entrepreneurship track. So this one talks about like entrepreneurship in terms of media, stuff like that. Yeah. And then the next one is Bachelor of Arts in Media Studies and Production, Media Production track. And so this track is like a professional option track, introduces students to conceptual and technical tools employed to create media content for the digital world. And then the next one is Digital Media Technologies minor. Digital Media Technologies minor is an interdisciplinary minor offered through the Department of Media Studies and Production within the Lou Klein College of Media and Communication and the Department of Computer Information Sciences within the College of Science and Technology. So it's basically designed to expand students' knowledge of the information age, enable them to share communications over the internet using fast-evolving emerging technologies. So here's some notable alumni. You have Bob Saget. He's a stand-up comedian. He's also an actor, performed on Full House, and he hosted America's Funniest Home Videos from 1989 to 1997. Then you have Tina Fey. She's an actress, comedian. She's been in a lot of things. Like I think she's from that credit card commercial, but she also is a star of Saturday Night Live, and she's a playwright and producer. All right, so my next school is Elon. It's in North Carolina. It's a private university. Tuition is $35,160 to $52,756. SAT average is like 1170 to 1320. ACT is 25 to 30, and the GPA is like 3.4 to 4.4. So here's some of the film programs. Cinema and Television Arts AB. It's basically like cinema about creative fiction and nonfiction storytelling. Yeah, so like more of the creative aspect of film. And then there's Cinema and Television Arts BFA. It's an intensive degree option for students who want to go to VR. So it's like more of an advanced program than Cinema and Television Arts AB, but Elon has like a really good film program. Yeah. So some notable alumni. We have Rich Blomquist. He's a staff writer for The Daily Show, which won 6 Emmy Awards, and he's a producer as well. Then you have Grant Gustin. He plays The Flash on the CW series The Flash, so he's a big star. The show was pretty popular at one time. Okay, next school, Wake Forest. It's in North Carolina, just like Elon. It's a private university. Tuition's from $32,000 to $74,000. SAT ranges from about 1270 to 1410, and the ACT is 28 to 32. GPA is usually about 3.9 and up. The film programs, a couple film programs, Film and Media Studies. It's like the general track. Film and Media Studies offers an interdisciplinary approach to the study of film through a body of courses, which exposes students to the cultural, political, and social implications of this art form. So it's like more about the social artsy idea behind film. Pretty interesting. And then Master of Fine Arts documentary program. Basically more like your documentary track. Equip students with skill set needed to produce professional quality like documentary films. It's a pretty good school, so a degree from any of those film programs would probably set you up for a good career in film. The notable alumni, Tim Duncan, he's a professional basketball player for the San Antonio Spurs. And then you have Chris Paul, another professional basketball player for the Oklahoma City Thunder. So you got two guys, big basketball guys, coming from Wake Forest.
Okay, thank you. And also, John, did we know what their majors were while they were at Wake Forest?
No, I don't know. I should have researched that, but yeah.
Yeah, no worries. Just curious. All right, up next, Evan.
Yeah,
Syracuse.
I'm Evan. I'm my first college was Syracuse. It's located in Syracuse, New York, about 200 miles from New York City. It's a private university with $70,000 yearly tuition, and in the Newhouse School, there's a lot of like media kind of degrees you can get. Advertising, Bandier, it's some kind of film. I forgot to put it on this slide, but it's on the next one. Broadcast and digital journalism, graphic design, magazine, news and digital journalism, photography, public relations, television, radio, and film. The average ACT is about 25 to 30. The average SAT is about 590. Oh, I think that's wrong. I think that's for the each section is around 590 to 670. And GPA is about 3.67. And for this year, at least, they have online applications. So yeah, there's a lot of different ways you can study at Syracuse in like the film field. So Bandier is that's the musical production. So it's learning the business of music and how to like record, get yourself into the music industry. Broadcast and digital journalism is about how to use like cameras and editing, as well as kind of TV types of journalism. Being a broadcaster is also part of that. Advertising is how to learn to be a sales representative, how to plan media, how to become an advertiser. Magazine, news, and digital journalism is mostly online writing. You can write for the school paper, has a lot of internships with like ESPN and Sports Illustrated. Graphic design is basically what it says, just learning how to do digital and print designs at the school. Photography, similar thing, just photography. Public relations is like teaching people how to like learn how to work in the public relations industry and become more technical and how like help employers like reach you. And television, radio, and film, it's learning how to like shoot and like edit, as well as like be able to work inside the television, radio, and film industries. So yeah. And then some famous alumni, Marv Albert, he's part of the Basketball Hall of Fame. He's called multiple sports as a play-by-play commentator, including like Super Bowls, NBA Finals, and Stanley Cups. And he graduated from Newhouse in 1963. And then Dan Gurewitch is a comedian, writer, and actor. And he was a senior writer for College Humor and is now currently a writer for Last Week Tonight with John Oliver. And has won an Emmy 4 times and graduated in 2005. Oh, that one's not mine.
Okay, we'll come back. I think we began with Alex. Alex?
All right, cool. So I only did 2. My apologies. I guess we'll start with Ithaca. Ithaca is in Ithaca, New York. It's a private university. Tuition costs are around $33,000 to $45,000. It does have a DC tag. They've been test optional for many years, and so if you look at their SAT requirements and that kind of stuff, you won't find any because they mostly don't admit students based on that. There's a couple of different application hoops you have to jump through, but otherwise, it has a lot of stuff. That's over 100 degrees to choose from, and it's very popular. focusing on its Park School of Communications because that's the most applicable for the people in this program. They have a quote on their website saying, "Explore every corner of the media universe with more majors than any other undergraduate communication school. Park is full of inspiration and potential collaborators. Industry-leading professors will guide you to understand the media landscape and discover how to change it." But some of the popular majors there include cinematography, sports media, journalism. They also have screenwriting, emerging media, and a bunch of other stuff. But it's one of the best communication schools in the country, and it's always good to go there. So the notable alumni are David Baranos. I can't pronounce that last name. That's like a whole mix of vowels and stuff. And then Jessica Savich. David Baranos is a American actor, television producer, director, and he did Angel on Buffy the Vampire Slayer and a couple other notable movies. Jessica Savich was a American television news presenter and correspondent. She's best known as the NBC Nightly News daily presenter of the NBC News updates in the 70s and 80s. So she's really good. My other school was Mizzou. It's in Columbia, Missouri, private university, also so DC tag. Tuition costs are much lower than Ithaca. They are $10,000 to $2,800, $1,140 to $250 SAT average, and over 100 degrees to choose from. Some of the notable alumni from there were John Hamm and Brad Pitt. They were both Grammy Award winners. Not Grammy. I'm going to change that to Oscar because that's more right. So I didn't. No, he wasn't in the other movie. Whatever. They're both great. They also both graduated from the Mizzou School of Journalism. Never mind, that's not correct. But I think Brad Pitt did. Hamm graduated in 1993 and Pitt in 1988. Yay!
Okay, thanks, Alex. Okay, Evan, did we pick back up with the University of Austin? Okay, go ahead.
So this is the University of Texas. It's located in Austin, Texas. It's a public university. It's roughly about $38,000 a year with the C tag. It's test optional for this year, and it has over 170 fields of study. And so the film school's in the Moody College of Journalism, and then it's a bit of a write-up from the website, but it's very film oriented at Moody College of Journalism as well, and very like directing, editing, and shooting is like important there. They also do a lot with graphic design, like animation, and it's a Bachelor of Science degree if you study there and take the radio, television, film route through that school. And then notable alumni are Owen Wilson, who says "wow" at least once every movie. He's been in movies since like 1996. It's been like 80 of them. And he's also a member of the Texas Film Hall of Fame. Matthew McConaughey as well, who's an actor producer in over 70 films. He's won 30 awards, including an Oscar and multiple Best Actors, and is also part of the Texas Film Hall of Fame. And then University of Georgia. It's located in Athens, Georgia. It's a public university, around $31,000 a year, and has this TC tag, average GPA of 4.0, and a 1270 SAT. So the film part of Georgia is at the Franklin College of Arts and Science with the Department of Theater and Film Studies, with both undergraduate and grad studies. And it's part of the National Association of Schools and Theater and the University Resident Theater Association. It's one of the oldest collegiate drama groups in the country, and provides media with stage, film theory, history, animation, motion capture, media, and robotics. And it offers 2 different Bachelor of Arts degrees in theater and film studies, and they're both liberal arts degrees. And some famous alumni is Ernie Johnson Jr., who's a sportscaster at Turner and CBS Sports, was one of the lead voices of MLB playoff baseball, host of the Inside the NBA with Shaquille O'Neal, Charles Barkley, and Kenny Smith, and awarded an Emmy for Outstanding Sports Personality. And then Alton Brown is a TV chef and personality, host of Good Eats and other food-related shows, and recipient of 2 James Beard Awards.
Okay, thank you, Evan. All right, Averett.
You don't hear me now?
Yes.
All right, my bad. So the first school that I'm going to be talking about today is going to be Pratt. It's located in Brooklyn in New York. It's a private school, and it's not included in DC Tag, which is really too bad because the tuition and the expenses of like room and board and all that, and like your meals are going to be $53,814 per year there. They require a GPA of 3.85 or higher, and for this year, like every other school, is test optional. The main two programs I was looking at are so they have a School of Art, and then that School of Art offers a Film Bachelor's of Fine Arts. Okay, so what the like Bachelor's of Fine Arts in Film is it's basically like there's this really long blurb, and I'm not gonna read it all, but basically what it is that like they're just teaching you how to make really good films. It's sort of like a pretty broad program. They talk about how you can do fiction or nonfiction. You can do like artistic films. Like if you're trying to make a movie, you can just work on commercials if you want. Like this class or like this program is just really, it's pretty broad, but it's really wide open for whatever you want to do. Like, you know, if you do the Bachelor's of Fine Arts in Film, like you can really do whatever you want. And then for the notable alumni, I tried to like, for most of them, pick like a famous person and then like someone who has something to do with our field. So my notable alumni from Pratt are going to be William Van Allen, who was the architect of the Chrysler Building in New York. So, you know, obviously pretty big name. And then another notable alumni from like the film industry is going to be Robert Redford, who's like a critically acclaimed director, and he also acts in his own movies. Next is Northwestern. It's located in Evanston, Illinois. It's also a private university, not covered in DC Tag. The tuition cost alone is $56,232, and that's not even including like your room and board, your meal plan or whatever. Like that's all added on. They're like highly selective. I didn't put it in, but they have an acceptance rate of like 12%. They want a GPA 4.09 like as a minimum, but also they're test optional this year. And they just sort of have like a catch-all program for all sorts of like, they have their communication studies degree. So yeah, like the communication studies degree is like, it's kind of a pretty broad program, but it sort of encompasses a lot of the stuff that we talk about in mass media. It's all about like how to connect to other people, how to relate to other people. Like, you know, it ranges from like persuading people, like writing persuasive essays, or just having a persuasive conversation to, you know, it also talks about like the history of like communication, like the theory of it. They give you like a bunch of different tools to like enhance your communication abilities. Like, so you can see how this definitely ties into mass media. They unfortunately don't have like a specific film program, but you know, this is just sort of like their catch-all program. Some notable alumni are going to be Meghan Markle, who's like, you know, she's pretty famous. But and then you also have Stephen Colbert, who, yeah, like I've really just chose two famous people for that one. But you know, Tulane University is the third one I'm going to be talking about today. This one is the one that like really caught my interest because it's located in New Orleans. You know, it's like a pretty unique area to have a college located in. They're private. They're not included in DC Tag. The tuition is like $50,780 per year. Again, that's not even covering like your dorm or like your food. So, and they offer the Bachelor's of Fine Arts and the Bachelor's of Art, but unfortunately they don't offer like the Bachelor's of Fine Arts in Film, which Pratt does. So, and also I forgot to put that they also offer a communication major, which again is a very similar major to what I just talked about with Northwestern. I don't really want to go through all that again, but in addition to this communication major, they do also offer Bachelor's of Fine Arts, which may or may not be helpful depending on what you want to go into. It's not as specialized as the program at Pratt, which really focuses on film, but still a good option. And they're notable alumni. One of them is the former Speaker of the House, Newt Gingrich, pretty successful guy. And then the other notable alumni is going to be Paul Michael Glasser, who's an actor and director as well. So you can see, like, both with Northwestern and with Tulane, they're pretty versatile. Like, if you go there, you don't necessarily have to do communications or film or mass media, but you can also go there and be very successful in that field too. Like, it's very open. It's not, neither of these two are specialized like art schools like Pratt is, but you know, you can really do whatever you want at them.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thanks, Averett. And I also want to thank all of the Mass Media 3 students who took their time and their effort to research the schools on our behalf. We find that communication is a strong degree, but narrowing down to film, media, and those other type of studies. So this would conclude our presentations. And I will go ahead and stop.